What is up, you guys? My name is Madison. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. Today I'll be doing the Booktube Newbie challenge, the Newbie Booktuber challenge, something like that. So I have all the questions written down, and there are 10, and I will most likely leave them somewhere on the screen as well as down below if you would like to do this, even though I know that literally no booktubers watch me at all, but it's okay. So yeah, the first question is, why did I start the channel? Well, it started off, if you go like way back down, it was maybe about 2 years ago. It was really like heavily focused in like makeup and, you know, fashion and clothes, but it was also relatively just kind of like about my life. And books, especially now, are one of the biggest parts of my life, since all I'm doing, especially now, is reading. And that's kind of why I added books to my channel. Question number 2 are, what are some things that I can bring to Booktube or try to bring to Booktube? And that one's simple. When you look on Booktube, you mostly find people between the ages of like 19 and 30-ish. I'm 16, and so my view on books and the way people see things are completely different. You know, obviously, like, I'm not completely different from a 19-year-old because there's only a 3-year difference there. But it's still different enough where, you know, they probably have gone through a year or 2 of college. I'm still in high school. I want to be able to bring a different, like, viewpoint of things. Question number 3 is, what am I most excited about? And honestly, just finding people that relate, I guess, because very few people like around me read, and then if they do read, it's probably not things that I have read, since I read some pretty controversial things because I like to know, you know, things like that. So question number 4 is, why do I love reading? And the answer is simple, is sometimes you just want to get away from your own life, or I want to get away from my own life and just indulge in another world, which is kind of why, like, right now I'm rereading all the Harry Potter books during this pandemic lockdown thingy-ma-doodad, even though technically I'm not on lockdown anymore. You know, places are starting to open back up, but little by little, so it's nice to be able to kind of escape into, you know, Hogwarts or the borough or whatever, and just feel different about things. Question number 5 is, what book got me into reading? And like that's a pretty hard question because I read all the time. I've read a lot of different books throughout my lifetime, but when I really think back to it, there's one book that I read every year, and it is A Work in Progress by Connor Franta. I started reading this, I read it when I got it in 2015, and then July 1st, 2016, 2017, not July 1st, January 1st of 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020, I read A Work in Progress, because it's just, I don't even really understand it. It's like, it gives me a good perspective, it gives me a good perspective on the world. Because Connor Franta is part of the LGBT community. He's gay, and he's also into a lot of things that I am, you know, like track. You know, he ran track in high school, and I started watching him when he was in O2L before he ever came out. So, you know, following that, you know, his life kind of inspired me. But the other book is Up to This Point by Jennifer Longo. This is about a ballerina who doesn't make it into the San Francisco Ballet and goes to Antarctica and studies penguins. And I love ballet. I've been doing ballet for 12 years, and I love penguins. They're actually my favorite animal. So it's a really good story, and you get 2 different perspectives from her, and I read that just about every summer. So yeah. Number 6 is, what questions would I ask my favorite booktubers? And honestly, it would just be, you know, how do you find the time? Because I'm in high school, I'm in 2 different sports. I'm in cheer and track. I have a job, and so obviously my life is pretty full. But you know, if you're working a genuine job, like a 9 to 5, or like something like that, like how do you find the time? Because chances are is you get up early, you might have like an hour to read, and then you get home at 5, and you just want to shower and rest. So I don't know. I just want to know how they find the time, and like they aren't like too tired to read. And I guess like part of me understands, but part of me doesn't. But I'm a baby, so like I don't know. Question number 7 is, what challenges do I have to overcome starting a YouTube channel or starting a Booktube YouTube channel? And really, it's just I don't fit into one like distinctive like group. Like I don't fit into the beauty part. I don't fit into the fashion part. I technically only even fit really into Booktube, even though I post majority like book related videos. So I guess it's just me not having like that mentality that I need to fit in somewhere, which is I've never fit in somewhere. Question number 8 is, when did I start reading? And again, I've been reading since I came out of the womb. My mom had like little baby books of like classics like Jane Austen and Dracula and Jane Eyre and all of these things. And then I didn't really read much between the ages of 6 and 10, and then I started reading the Harry Potter books when I was like 12. And then I got like super into reading for a hot minute there between the ages of like 12 and 14ish, and then it stopped. And then a couple months ago I started reading pretty heavily again. But I've always liked collecting books. I've always liked the look of having books. I've always read a book at some point in my life. You know, there was never really a time that I wasn't reading. It just I didn't read like consistently, I guess you could say. Like I definitely would not have read 16 books in a month when I was 15 or like even 14. I would not have done that. But now it's just something that I do all of the time. So yeah. And number 9 is, where do I read? And I read here at my desk, I read on my bed, I read downstairs. I get some of my best reading done on my couch in my living room. So pretty much as long as I'm not in a constant state of moving, like in a car or on a plane, whatever, I can read physically. I can listen to a book, but normally I'd want to listen to music if I was in a car. It's a long story. But the last question is, what kind of books do I read? And you know what? Let me go grab some books. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a book I've never mentioned on my channel. I don't really talk about it with people, but it's Folded Notes from High School by Matt Boren. I read this book maybe the beginning of my freshman year, and I loved it. It's written literally in notes. And it's about a girl who doesn't get the lead in a play, but who's a senior, and she ends up falling in love with a freshman who was the lead in the play, and her being like super jealous of the girl who did get the lead because she got sent to like Juilliard or something. And I just liked the format of notes. I've said it before, said it with twerp and everything. But I also just really like the storyline because I am very into like musical theater, and it's definitely talks about a lot of things like that. So next I have The Wicked City by Beatrice Williams, and this is told in 2 perspectives, one from 1924 and one from 1998, I think. And it follows the life of one woman who just got a divorce, and she had to move into this like new apartment. And the second one is a woman from 1924 who's being pretty much followed by a cop about her dad, or her stepdad. And it's just a really good book, and I'm rereading it and tapping it along the way. Next, I have my favorite poetry book that I own, other than The Witches and Burn in This One by Amanda Lovelace, but I don't want to keep that one out because it's like stuck. I love Robert M. Drake's poetry that like genuinely like tells a story of somebody without it being a story. I really enjoy it, and it's like I just really like it. And there are like illustrations in here or pictures, and like it doesn't match any of the poetry, but it still works well. Next, I have a little YA contemporary romance thingy-ma-doo. This is All the Boys I Loved Before. This is one of my favorite trilogies of all time. I actually ended up making some of the cookies in the back. I just really like the idea of a messed up relationship. Like, I don't know how to like put that or like say that without it sounding weird, but I genuinely just really enjoy like a messed up relationship and, you know, a love triangle which ends up becoming a love square. I don't even know. This is just a really good book, and I like the trilogy. Next, I have The Maze Runner by James Dashner. I've read the first 2 books, and I've seen all 3 movies, and I've cried in every single one of them because he just likes to kill off all my favorite characters, but it's fine. It's fine. It talks about a boy named Thomas. All of the characters in here are named after scientists. They have to work together to like escape the maze and fight all these people in the series. I like the idea of not necessarily a competition, but like a fight to the death kind of thing. Like, I don't like the Hunger Games, like for the specific reason that like they're fighting to the death in a competition. I like it they're fighting to the death to stay alive and protect the people they care about. So, and lastly, I'm gonna use the one that I have right next to me. I like Harry Potter. I like the setting. I like the magic system. I like the fact that they live like kind of in the real world, kind of like coexisting with each other. Draco Malfoy is also my #1 favorite character in cinematic and literary history. #2 being Lacey Pemberton from Paper Towns, but I didn't like that book, so we're not gonna talk about it. I like Harry Potter. It may be basic. I do have tabs for a couple hundred pages. It's Harry Potter. Like, there are people who don't like Harry Potter, and it's mind-boggling. There are Christians, or just people. There are just people who don't like let their children read Harry Potter because they're wizards. And I see that a lot, like in the Christian community and sometimes in the Catholic community. And I don't understand. Like, I get it, like, your religious beliefs and stuff, like paganism, Satanism, things like that. Like, they don't want that in their house. But at the same time, it's Harry Potter. It's literally made for 12-year-olds. If 12-year-olds like death. So. Anyway, that is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. All my social media will also be down below, and I will see you next time, whenever that may be. Bye!